In the small town of Willowbrook, nestled between dense forests and rolling hills, there stood an old, abandoned mansion that locals called the Haunted House. It was said that the house was cursed, haunted by the spirits of its previous inhabitants. Nobody dared to go near it after sunset, for the nights were filled with eerie whispers and ghostly apparitions. One chilly autumn evening, a group of adventurous teenagers decided to challenge the legend of the haunted house. Among them were Alex, Sarah, Mark, and Emily. Armed with flashlights and brave hearts, they ventured into the darkness, determined to uncover the truth behind the stories. As they entered the mansion, the air turned icy, and the atmosphere was heavy with the scent of decay. Creaky floorboards echoed their every step, and shadows danced menacingly on the walls. Despite their fear, curiosity propelled them deeper into the house. In the dim light of their flashlights, they discovered a room filled with old photographs and artifacts. One photo caught their attention, a family portrait dating back to the 19th century. The family, dressed in archaic clothing, looked stern and melancholic. The teenagers felt an inexplicable connection to the family, as if the eyes in the portrait were following their every move. Suddenly, a gust of wind slammed the door shut, trapping them inside the room. Panic set in as they realized they were not alone. Whispers echoed through the house, growing louder with each passing moment. The ghostly voices spoke of a tragedy that had befallen the family, a tale of betrayal and revenge. As the night wore on, the teenagers experienced inexplicable phenomena. Doors slammed shut, objects floated in the air, and chilling laughter echoed through the corridors. The spirits seemed to be angry, seeking vengeance for the wrongs done to them in the past. In a desperate attempt to escape, the group followed a hidden staircase that led them to the mansion's basement. There, they discovered a series of cryptic symbols drawn on the walls, surrounded by flickering candlelight. It was a ritualistic chamber, a place where dark forces were once summoned. As they explored further, they found a diary belonging to one of the mansion's former occupants. The diary revealed a horrifying truth. The family had dabbled in occult practices, trying to gain immortality and power. In their pursuit of forbidden knowledge, they had unleashed malevolent entities that cursed the mansion and its inhabitants for generations. Realizing the severity of the situation, the teenagers attempted a ritual to appease the vengeful spirits. With trembling hands, they followed the instructions from the diary, hoping to break the curse that bound the mansion. As the ritual reached its climax, the house shook violently, and a blinding light enveloped the room. The spirits' anguished cries filled the air, but then, as suddenly as it had begun, the chaos ceased. The mansion fell silent, and the oppressive atmosphere lifted. The teenagers cautiously made their way back upstairs, finding the front door now ajar, inviting them to leave. As they stepped out into the crisp morning air, they saw the first light of dawn breaking on the horizon. The curse had been lifted, and the haunted house stood silent, its dark secrets finally put to rest. The town of Willowbrook was never the same again. The legend of the haunted house became a cautionary tale, a reminder of the dangers of meddling with the supernatural. And the brave teenagers, forever changed by their harrowing experience, carried the memory of that fateful night with them, a reminder of the thin veil that separates the living from the dead. In the quiet town of Willowbrook, nestled amidst rolling hills and ancient woods, stood an old mansion known as Hollow Manor. Its grandeur was marred by a dark history. The tale began one stormy night as Sarah, a curious teenager, decided to explore the abandoned manor with her friends, Emily and Jake. As they ventured inside, the air turned cold and a pervasive sense of unease settled over them. Dusty furniture and faded wallpaper adorned the rooms, relics of a forgotten era. Ignoring the eerie atmosphere, the friends pressed on, their footsteps echoing through the empty halls. Deep into the night, strange occurrences started to unfold. Whispers permeated the air, shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and cold fingers seemed to brush against their skin. Emily, the most sensitive of the group, felt an unseen presence watching them, its gaze heavy with malevolence. Despite their growing fear, the trio continued their exploration, drawn deeper into the heart of the manor. In a hidden chamber, they discovered an old diary belonging to a woman named Eliza Holloway, the last resident of Hollow Manor. Eliza's writings spoke of a forbidden ritual, performed in a desperate attempt to save her dying son, Ethan. As they read, the mansion seemed to come alive with paranormal energy. Doors slammed shut, and the temperature plummeted. Sarah, Emily, and Jake realized they had awakened something dark, something that hungered for their souls. Terrified by the malevolent force they had awakened, Sarah, Emily, and Jake clung to each other, desperately seeking a way out of the manor. But the spirits of Hollow Manor had other plans. Doors slammed shut behind them, trapping them within the suffocating darkness. Whispers grew louder, echoing tales of tragedy and despair. Driven by fear, the friends retraced their steps, hoping to find an escape route. As they navigated the labyrinthine corridors, they stumbled upon a room adorned with dusty relics that once belonged to the ill-fated Holloway family. Among the artifacts, they found a peculiar pendant pulsating with an otherworldly glow. In a desperate bid for safety, they decided to use the pendant, hoping it held the key to pacifying the vengeful spirits. Little did they know, the pendant was an artifact of great power, imbued with ancient magic. As Sarah clasped the pendant, a blinding light engulfed them, transporting them to a different time. The era when Hollow Manor was a place of joy, not despair. The trio found themselves in the midst of a grand celebration. Eliza Holloway, elegant and regal, greeted them warmly. Bewildered, Sarah, Emily, and Jake realized they had been transported to the night of the ill-fated ritual described in Eliza's diary. Eliza, desperata to save her son Ethan, had dabbled in dark arts, unaware of the dire consequences her actions would unleash. Ethan, a pale, sickly boy, lay on a makeshift altar in the center of the room. Eliza, consumed by grief and desperation, began the forbidden ritual, chanting ancient incantations. The air crackled with supernatural energy as the ritual reached its climax. But something went horribly wrong. The ritual backfired, shrouding the manor in darkness and trapping the Holloway family within its walls for eternity. Witnessing the tragedy unfold before their eyes, Sarah, Emily, and Jake felt an overwhelming surge of empathy. Determined to break the curse, they ventured back into the present, armed with newfound knowledge of the manor's tragic past. As they returned to the haunted present, the trio devised a plan to help the spirits find peace. Armed with the pendant's magic and guided by the words from Eliza's diary, They performed a ritual to lay the spirits to rest. With trembling hands and hearts full of hope, they chanted the incantations, channeling the ancient power of the pendant. In a blinding flash, the vengeful spirits were released, their anguished cries fading into the ether. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the manor, once consumed by darkness, was bathed in a soft, ethereal light. If one is lucky, a solitary fantasy can totally transform 1 million realities.